to the computer. There we go. All right, here we go. This is week 3 of Shoot for the Stars, and we're going to turn it over to Rob.
Well, good evening, everybody. And we're going to go over a lot of information. Some of it is going to be information overload for those that have never um, ran reports or looked at the reporting tab and actually tried to set something up. Comment in the comment section there if you know how or are efficient with the reporting tab. Give me a high five or a thumbs down or something of that nature in the chat box. Let me know what you got. And I'm going to go ahead and start the screen share.
We only practiced it like 5 times.
There we go.
Okay.
It's
Rob, hold on just a second. I'm going to mute everybody except you guys. Unmute yourself again.
Can you see it? We good? All right. So we got a head shake from Tiffany. So I think we're going to go ahead and get this started. So this is a training on running reports. Now, the last couple weeks, we've talked a lot about PRV. We've talked about recruiting. We've talked about building teams. We've talked about why we do things. Michelle did a great training on the compensation plan and understanding that. And truly and honestly, running reports, you must have a good understanding of the comp plan. Otherwise, you really don't or won't know what you're looking for when you're running reports. So let's get started. So Chuck Thompson made a post to all the directors and consultants about when even talking about numbers with your team members in trainings to always use the income disclosure and understand that not all results are equal or the same, or everybody will experience the same in your business, but this is the income disclosure for the training tonight. So this here is the Sensi compensation plan. And to really, like I said, understand how to run reports or what to look for with reports, you need to have a subconscious understanding of everything you see here on this form. You don't have to memorize it completely, but understanding that a lead consultant needs 500 PRV, 1,000 GWV, and 1 active frontline is super important because you want to make sure that person is paid at title. To these last weeks, we're talking about star consultants. We're shooting for the stars. 4 star consultants who are paid at title and have a 2,500 GWV. If you have 4 of them and you're the sponsor, you now have promoted to director. At the end of the day, this is the objective of this 5-week series of training, is to eventually get everybody to launch to director by shooting for your star consultants. And you can see this is all how you get paid. We're not so worried about that tonight. That can be something that you can talk about with your sponsor or with your director, or look for other trainings. But this is the area that you really need to focus and understand. So I'm going to take you into Workstation and I'm going to show you everything. Nothing is blurred. Nothing is hidden from you that can't be shown or shared in this through YouTube. The information that is sensitive has been censored or has been edited. Consultant IDs are gone. Consultant names, director names, states have been shuffled through. The information you see is completely what's the compliance safe. So feel free and understand. I wanted to show you real numbers, but I wanted to mess it up enough to be compliant. But I want you to understand that this is what we see. This is what Michelle sees, Tiffany sees. This is what your SSDs see. This is what you should be looking at and setting yourself up to run reports. So you're going to click here at Run Reports. You're going to get this screen here, and you're going to click on View My Performance. When you click View My Performance, it's going to take you to a screen that looks like this. So you have your month here. It shows you your activity here for the current month, or this is your current month information here, and then this would be total information. And then you have your director information here. You've got your leadership reports and downline reports. And then as we go through, I'm going to show you how to save reports, and you would simply click on one of these icons, and that saved report that we're going to do and I'm going to talk to you about later will be right here, and all you'll have to do is click on it, and it'll run all the parameters. It'll run that same report that you've saved, and you will never have to do what I'm going to show you tonight again unless you decide to change your reports. So let's talk about leadership and downline and what the difference is and why we run one versus the other, or you have just your opinion and why you want to do it. This is a hot topic with leaders in Sensi on whether or not you run leadership or you run downline. In a leadership report, you are running a report with your direct team. This is your direct leaders, and this is where your paycheck comes from. Leadership does not necessarily mean your recruits, but it means that the people that don't have a director between you and them, okay? There's no director between you and them in leadership report. In a downline report, you're looking at your entire group. You're looking at all generations, and once you've promoted directors in your team, in this downline report, you're still going to see your second and third generations. You're still going to see the directors that have promoted after you or under you, and you're going to see all of their team as well. The problem with the downline report is at some point you may end up overstepping some of your leaders. That's something that you need to be aware of, that when you run a downline report and you see a consultant that is killing it, they're doing really well, you want to make sure that their sponsor or their director, their leader, is coaching that person, and that you don't overstep by overcoaching that individual. And now that can lead to a whole nother topic of leadership style training, but for this purposes, you just need to know leadership is the people that are under you with no directors. Downline is everybody. But either way, when you do this, you are tracking history, you're coaching, and you're leading by running reports. Oh, it froze. Hang on, folks. My screen share froze on me.
I have to stop and redo it.
Hang on. We're going to try that again. Everybody still with us? There we go. All right, so we good? Can I get a thumbs up, Tiffany? All right. So you're here. I like to run downline reports. I prefer downline because I can see everybody. So you're going to click downline report. You're going to get this page, and you're going to have all your consultant information that show up in your downline report. And hopefully you guys can see all that information, but there's a lot of information there. Sometimes it can be confusing. As you scroll down, you get overwhelmed. There's a lot of information to decipher, the generations, the levels. All of this information is here. And as you scroll down more, and the bigger your team is, or the bigger your group is, the more people that are going to populate here on this screen when you start an entire downline report. We want to lessen that confusion and we're going to set some parameters and run reports that are going to benefit you as a leader. So the first report we're going to talk about is TWV. So while doing the TWV report, we're going to double click here on TWV. The double click TWV is going to put the greatest TWV at the top, and it's going to go down in sequential order to the lowest TWV. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add additional filters. The reason we're going to add additional filters is because we want to make sure we're working with consultants that are active. We want to make sure that we have people that are active, and we're going to add into the PRV criteria minimum 200. Now, if you want to look at everybody still, you don't have to do this. Or if you have a different report that you want to run, you can set whatever parameters in this that you want. So I put a 200 minimum there, and then we're going to click on choose visible columns. When you click on choose visible columns, this is what's going to lessen the confusion when you're running reports or looking at the reports, because we're going to get rid of consultant IDs, we're going to get rid of projected rank, and we're going to get rid of brands. Then we're going to add director name. And the reason I want to add director name is because when I run the reports, remember we're on downline, so there may be other directors in this downline report, and there are going to be other people that have directors between me and them because we're star directors. And I want to make sure that I can coach that director, not coach that star consultant. I don't want to skip that director and give that director the opportunity to lead their team without us trying to have that conversation. So when you run that report, this is what you now see. Once you set all those parameters and you set the visible columns, this is just a little bit easier to see. You've got your levels or your generations, the consultant's name, their rank and title, and we've got PRV, TWV, and I didn't tell you how to take out GWV, but I don't keep GWV in the visible column because it just adds an extra cluster of big numbers. And if you don't have directors, then the number of GWV and TWV is going to be the same. Okay. Then you've got your team size, your group size, your active frontline, new recruits, and any of the other information that you want to see there. Now, what's so great about running a TWV report is this is where Felicia and I really look at coaching our leaders to make sure they get paid at title. Paid at title is super important, and that's why last week's homework was all about making sure you knew what it took for you to get paid at title. Because if you are paid at title, you're looking to get paid at title, this is where you can see if this consultant that's a lead is going to make it or not. I just kind of picked that randomly, but this consultant here at this given time has 287 PRV and 1985 TWV with 2 active frontline. This consultant right here, ever so randomly picked, could potentially promote to star consultant this month. If they sell their 500 PRV and get paid at title as a leader, their TWV is also going to increase, and you would hope that they could maybe coach somebody else in their team to get active or make a couple extra sales. This consultant just promoted to star consultant. And by running this report and understanding the compensation plan, you'll be able to recognize these kinds of things and be much better set up in the future to help coach your team. So now that you've got that report set, you're going to come back up to the top and you're going to hit Save Report. And we'll talk about exporting to Excel a little bit later on. But you click on Save Report, and then this screen pops up and you type in and you want to name it whatever you want to name it. For me, this report is TWV Leaders because I'm going from TWV Top to TWV Bottom. So now we're going to talk about another report that I like to save, and this is a PRV report. What we're going to do, instead of clicking the TWV, this time we're going to double click PRV. This is going to be my top 10 sales, my top 15, whatever it is that you as a leader want to do. You want to congratulate the people that are working the hardest. And a lot of the times, the people that are working hardest are going to have the greater PRV. And you want to make sure these people are recognized and that you're recognizing and coaching the people that are doing outstanding work. And another thing you can look at too, if their PRV is high, I will show you in a minute, but you want to be looking to see if they have any new recruits as well. So double click PRV, and then we're going to do visible columns. And again, I take out the consultant ID, the projected rank, and the brands. Again, it's just more information that you don't need, and I add director name. Okay, and I'm going to show you that same series for all of these reports. So now you run the report, or you add that filter, and you scroll down a little bit, and now you can see your PRV, greatest to least. And you can do whatever kind of shout outs you want to do. You can do whatever kind of coaching you want to do. But this is how you would set up that report in order to recognize your hardworking people that have high PRV. But also, for those of you that are new to Sensi, well, I want you to kind of look at this. This consultant here with 2,700 PRV, that's a superstar consultant, has got 4 new recruits. This consultant that has another 27 has 3 new recruits. You can see these new recruits are all up here with people who have higher PRV. Now, this isn't a coaching call for everybody to say high PRV equals more recruits. Not at all. But you'll notice the more you run reports, the people that are active in their business in sales will also be active in their recruiting. So then again, we're going to go up here and we're going to save report. And if you wanted to export this report and save it, you could by clicking that export to Excel, and you could save it as a file in your computer to refer back to later without having to come into Workstation and run the report for that given month by clicking up here. You could just save it to a file in your computer. So then you'll save this, and this is a simple one for top PRV. And this next report is a real quick and easy one to set up and save. And so you run downline report or leadership report again, and you will simply double click new recruits. Can y'all see that, or is the camera stuff in the way? You can see it, Michelle? Okay. So you double click new recruits, and that's just going to bring your people that are recruiting the most to the least. And you'll see there, when you do that, you can see here, it puts it in order from greatest to lowest. And you would just do like your top 10 shout out, who recruited the most people this week or this month. And this is all team building stuff. Everybody loves shout outs. It doesn't matter if your team is 5 people right now. The one person that recruited 2 people of your group of 5 wants to be recognized, and it's your job as a leader to make sure that you do that. And that goes back to why you would run a leadership report versus a downline report later on in your Sensi career, because you want to make sure that you're giving the right leader the opportunity to coach and recognize the people that are working hardest for them. All right. And then we would just save this report as a who's recruiting or top recruits, whatever it is you wanted to do. I can't see the chat box. This kind of sucks. I'm just skipping everybody's questions. I know there's questions.
We'll get to them. And Tiffany's on. She's reading them. And yeah,
I'm watching for questions too, so we're okay. We just had one pop off because she couldn't hear anything, but I'm not sure why. I told her to log back out and come back in.
Okay. Am I quiet or am I okay?
No, I can hear fine, and I don't think I think everybody else is okay.
All right. So to the meat and potatoes of shooting for the stars to reach for director or launching directors, we're going to set up a star consultant watch report. Okay. Now, by doing this, we're going to run a downline report or run a leadership report. You just would click this blue button here in your workstation, and it's going to run everybody on your group, and it's going to have all the information in there. You can see the brands. You can see all that stuff is there that just adds extra information and kind of confuses you. So what we're going to do is we're going to add additional filters. And this report we're going to set up for like towards the end of the month parameters. Okay, so right here we want to make sure that we have a consultant that's active. So we put in 200 PRV, and we want to make sure they're getting close to Star Consultant. So by getting close to Star Consultant, remember a Star Consultant has to have 2,500 GWV. So in my opinion, somebody that can maybe be coached to that 2,500, I think 1,200 is a reasonable number. It's a little bit less than half, but it's right there at a coachable number. So then there's this tab over here for titles. If you have directors in your group already, you don't want to try and coach that director to Star Consultant. So we're gonna camouflage them out of this equation by adding essential consultants, certified consultants, lead consultants, and Star Consultants to make sure that you're coaching your stars to pay that title and they don't get stuck not getting paid a full paycheck. So those are the parameters I have set for a Star Consultant Watch report. Then we're going to choose visible columns to make it easy on the eyes. And we're going to take out consultant ID, projected rank, and brands. And just real quick, the reason I take out projected rank is because I have such a good understanding of the comp plan. I really don't need that extra letters on the report to know that this person is potentially going to promote or has promoted, because I can look at the projected title with the actual title and get that information. And then we're going to add director name just because it's nice. And once you have this saved, you'll never have to set this up again. Even if you do promote directors and you become a star director, you'll never have to do this again. It's set, it's done. So then you set those, choose visible columns, and you can see here I've got a couple consultants that are on a watch list. We've got a Star Consultant that's not quite paid at title yet, and you can see that by looking at this 2,000 TWV. There's another Star Consultant here that is paid at title, and they've got their active frontline is right. There's a lead consultant here with 505 PRV and 1,400 TWV and 2 active frontline. So we want to work with this person. This person here, we want to coach. We want to talk to. We want to say, hey, what can we do, or what can your group of 5 people do to get this another 900 or so that you can promote to Star Consultant? Okay. We've got another Star Consultant here that's paid at title, and there's another lead consultant here that's relatively close. What can we do to coach this person or coach this person's team to get to where they need so that we can help them get to Star Consultant and get that pay raise? But once you have this saved, let me go back. Once you have this report saved, it's done. It's saved forever. You never have to do all of that, changing parameters, changing filters, adding or clicking those essentials, leads, stars. You never have to do that again. You'll see here this saved reports, and I've got this is you can't really see it that well here, but where this report would save at, once you save it and you title it, it's going to go here. And if you ran downline report, it'll go under the little orange box that says saved downline reports. If you ran a leadership report, it'll be here under saved leadership report. So going back to exporting, you export reports to maintain a record of how you and your team is working, and it helps track and show consistency or the lack thereof when you're coaching and planning for your business. This is where you can go and see Like you have a consultant that's messaging you constantly and says, hey, I need help. I want a coaching call. What can we do? If you save these reports like I've got here, and you can see I just started saving these reports in June. I've been running these reports forever, but we just started saving these reports back in June. And I think it's really helped Felicia and I in recognizing a consultant's consistency or the lack thereof, not only with their PRV, but with the recruiting and with their TWV and GWV.
Inactive front.
Yes, the active frontline is key.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry to interrupt. We had a question. One of the girls wanted to know, would you be able to share like a step-by-step of how to save all of these? And I told them you could like do a screenshot and post that on the page. Will you do that?
Yeah. So it's a little bit simpler than you may be thinking. But when you click here at export to Excel, what it does is it uploads or it exports from Workstation probably to in your computer where it says my downloads or wherever you export and save it to. So like if you download an email from Gmail and you save it to your computer, a lot of the times it'll save to your downloads or it'll save to my documents. This is where you kind of have to have an understanding of how to use Excel and be decent with computers and saving files and folders, because all this here is that you see is a folder that I have titled Leader Watch List in my documents. That's in another folder that says Sensi. And when Felicia and I are like scanning through the computer, I can click on my Sensi folder, I can click on my Leader Watch List folder, and then it brings me to this. And this is all in just different months of running reports.
I think it's also how to save the report in the workstation.
Okay. So all you're doing, let me go back one more. Hang on. Nope. Where's the, hang on, folks. So when you click, can you see this here? So when you click, when you're here and you click Save Report, never mind that button there, but when you click Save Report right here, this screen pops up. When you click, or when this screen is here, you're going to type the name of the saved report of the parameters and the saving that you just did. That saved report, you just click Save. And
then it shows up down here.
And then it'll show up here. And it'll forever show up here. I'm trying to make it sound simple without sounding too computer tech professional. It really is a simple process. Once you set the additional filters, you choose your visible columns, it's going to jumble all of this the way you want it to be, the way we just talked about, with choosing those and setting, and all of this stuff is done. All of these buttons, you'll never have to click again. You'll never have to do any of this again with this saved report. It's going to save you so much time and so much energy in your coaching and building that I'm going to come over here and pretend this right here says Star Consultant Watch. I'm going to click this button and it's going to go from that jumbled screen of all the consultants to this right here. And it really is just that simple.
And it's going to take trial and error. It's going to take you guys kind of going on your workstation and playing around with it and plugging it in. Again, we are going to upload this whole PowerPoint so you can go step by step as well. And we'll open it up for questions on the page to help you out.
And we'll open up for questions, and please don't sign off tonight if your question hasn't been answered, because we can always stop the recording and get personal with you and actually really dig into this, okay? So when it exports, this is the file that I have where I review information and I figure out who's on a promotion watch, who has promoted, who's close to getting paid at title, who is paid at title. I recognize some good quality work here and some work that probably needs to be boosted with this color. This way, when I'm looking at this report and I just happen to pull it up, I can talk to Flea and say, hey, look, this consultant here is close to paid at title. Their PRV is great, but their TWV needs to be jumped. Well, why does their TWV need to be jumped? Well, look here. They've only got one active frontline. If their frontline was more active, these 6 people were doing a little bit more, this TWV is going to jump up. By doing that, this consultant, this star consultant, now gets paid at title. And that's why coaching and letting your leaders coach their team is so important. But this is just kind of the color-coded Excel sheet. You'll have to, I would love to coach you all on this, but this is something that you're going to definitely have to work on and find for yourself what works well for you, because not everybody, I mean, Michelle doesn't save her reports the same way I do. Tiffany doesn't, because when you export from Excel, it's going to export everything that you wanted to see the last time. I'm doing it again. It's going to export a document that looks like this. Okay. And that's how I got
those numbers,
the boxes and numbers and letters here. That's how I got this information, was by exporting. And then I just edited and copied, pasted, and made it look the way it is. And that's how I got to here. Okay. And then again, we're going to tidy up and finish again with the income disclosure statement. If you've never actually read the income disclosure statement, there's this beautiful sentence here that says, as with any business endeavor, consultant success will be the direct result of the time and effort that they devote to selling the product and leading a team. That is a huge statement made by Sensi for Sensi consultants. And I think that the more time you spend figuring this part out and building your team, the better you may find yourself, the better things will develop, and you'll get there. I think everybody is doing well. I love how active everybody is in the group page, and I hope that kind of helped you or helped somebody with a little bit of reporting. I know that kind of was quick, but running reports is pretty easy for me. It's a simple process. And once you have those parameters set, the saving report and titling reports is super easy. But each person's parameters are a little bit different. And depending on what you're looking for to save, your parameters are going to be different. If you're looking for consultants that may potentially promote to lead, you don't want to set their GWV parameter to 1200. You might want to set their GWV parameter to 500. I don't like setting a parameter for active frontline because I don't want to miss that consultant that's doing so well but doesn't have the active frontline that's doing it and kind of getting there. So the sequence or the amount of reports you can save are endless. You can essentially save a report for anything and everything and never have to go into your or your workstation again and ever click or double click will terminate or will lose frontline, because you can save a report that is who's on the will cancel list. And then instead of double click or running downline report and clicking will cancel, you can double click that, save that report, and then choose your visible columns. And then the next time you want to see who's on the will cancel, you can just click on it and be done. So, Michelle, what you got?
I want to thank you very, very much. That was awesome, and I think it's going to help a lot of people out. I want to reply to Misty's comment she made. She's new to reporting, so she's wondering what the purpose of running reports are. She's thinking it's to keep up with herself and her downline to improve monthly. You're absolutely 100% correct. I think that whenever you have people that you are watching, you want to make sure that a big part of the way I promoted to director was I was running reports and I was seeing where people were whenever they were, close to promoting or, close to doing something amazing, with their team. It's like Rob said, are they recruiting? Are they doing all the things to get to that next level? You're going to want to run those reports, and especially for those of you that are just growing a team, or you have teams of like 10 10 or 20, or even less than 10 or whatever, it's never too early to start running reports. So once you start seeing who's working on your team, and the fact that the compensation plan, you need to know that up and down, because there's no reason in you running a report if you don't know that compensation plan. If you don't know that the person that you're getting ready to shoot a message to and say, look, I was looking at our numbers tonight for our team, and I noticed that you're only like 400 GWV away from promoting to star or promoting to lead. That's important. That could be the pivotal moment whenever that person does promote or not, because with your encouragement and your positivity, you're going to give them that little extra that they're going to need to say, you know what, I got 15 days left in this month, or I got 20 days left in this month. I know we can do this. But sometimes the thing that helped me out a lot when I promoted to director is I did export all of these to an Excel spreadsheet. I literally highlighted every single day. I looked at my numbers every single day, because this is something that I wanted. I really, really wanted it. And I wanted to work to make sure that I knew how to do that. And the only way I knew how to do that was to see where people's numbers were and shoot them a text and let them know, hey, in order for you to promote to lead, you really only need to get your 500 PRV in and help get your one person to active. That's really all you need to do. But you need to be that driving force that's going to look at the numbers. You're responsible for your team. Okay. You decided, we talked about this last week, when you sponsored, you decided to be a leader. All right. Whenever you took on that responsibility of being a leader, there comes certain things that you need to do as far as being a leader. You need to know what your team needs. You need to know that little edge that's going to push them over, because ultimately it's going to help all of you. Yes, it's going to help you promote, but you know what? You're helping them promote too. So there's nothing selfish about this. There's nothing that is, it's all about me, 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 me. It's not like that, because you're helping them see their full potential along with helping you to reach what goal you want to go. I think if you have a goal right now to reach star, your own self, or if you have a goal to reach superstar, you need to sit down and you need to look at your team and you need to see who's working, who has the PRV to promote to lead. Okay. There's no sense in looking at them if they don't have their 500 PRV in. All right. You can shoot them a message and say, look, girl or guy, you're about $100 or 100 PRV away from getting your leadership PRV in. Let's see what we can do with that. You need to start with that first, because they need to get to that leadership PRV before they can even think about their team or sponsoring their team. But having a visual is crucial to know where you're going. If you're just out there looking, I literally just messaged a girl because I looked at her numbers today, and she and a person on her team are getting ready to promote to star. Literally getting ready to promote to star. I've messaged them and told them, this is what you need to do. This is where you need to be. And don't just do it once and forget about them. All right. If you're working with those people, write their name down somewhere, write what you're telling them, hey, I touched base with Tiffany and told Tiffany she was 400 GWV away from promoting, shoot me how you're doing this, shoot me how your team's doing this, and then follow up with them. Okay, don't abandon them. Don't leave them there, because they need you. They need that extra support. They need that extra encouragement to know that, hey, I really can do this and it really is possible. I just need to open my eyes and I need to see it. And I need that strong backbone that's going to be encouraging me to do this. When we're talking about incentive trips, you're definitely going to want to know about this, because our main goal for incentive trips is sponsoring. I cannot tell you how many people did not earn this past incentive trip because they didn't have sponsoring points. So you, at some point, if that's something that you want to do, then you're going to have to learn how to do this. I see Rob raising his hand. Go ahead.
And what's crazy about the incentives right now is the sponsoring points isn't how many people you sponsor. It's how well your sponsors do.
Yep.
So you have to create, number one, a culture of consistent PRV, and you have to recruit. And by sponsoring and recruiting, same thing, you're building a team of people who have that same mindset, and you've built that culture of recruiting and PRV. Because with that comes the promotions. With that comes the incentives. Because if I want to say it was like it was 1,000 points if somebody promoted that you recruited to star consultant in this last incentive.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes in that category of sponsoring points. You don't have to sponsor 30 people. You have to sponsor maybe 5 or 6 and get them to recruit and sponsor and try and get them to earn the incentive too.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's completely possible for a new recruit at the beginning of an incentive period to earn that incentive that same 6 months. It's completely possible.
Yeah.
But you've got to create a culture within your group of sales and consistent recruiting. But by doing that, you have to coach them on a regular basis that pay that title is most important. And you get that mainly by active frontline. And in order to maintain active frontline, you have to maintain your own recruiting.
Yep. And I think that a lot of what one of my our directors on our team, we're talking about this today, Nicole and I, it's like we can sponsor, okay, we can gift a kit and we can bless somebody with a kit, but it's how you follow up with them. It's how you teach them to grow. It's how you make sure that their drive continues from the day that they say yes. You have to continuously work with people and let them know that you're there for them. If you just sponsor somebody, then that's not going to go very far. I know Felicia wanted to say something about this, and I'm going to let her talk about this, but just sponsoring somebody is not the end. And I really want her to elaborate on this a little bit more, because we talked about this today. So I'm going to let Felicia tell you a little bit about sponsoring is not the end.
No, definitely not. Sponsoring, it's honestly, it's the beginning. It's a whole other side of your business. I remember back when I didn't have anyone on my team and I was strictly focused on me, I loved that part of my business. But the first time I got a recruit, it was like I fell in love with the whole new business. I fell in love with leading people and understanding their why and helping them push for more, coaching them to look for people to join their teams, planting seeds, what that means, growing their TWV, GWV, finding those active front lines, teaching others to coach. It's so important for you to understand what these reports do for you, but not just for you, but your team. These reports are a reflection of people working for their goals, working to make their dreams come true. And you get to be that person in that seat who gets to, one, witness it firsthand. A lot of these people just kicking butt. But two, also see where people are struggling. And the beauty of this business is if someone's struggling with Scentsy, it's an easy fix.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about it is impossible. if we open our mouths, if we run the reports, if we dissect what they need to get to their next title, which is how and why it's so important to understand the compensation plan. Because for us, we want to be equipped to coach somebody to their next goal, to their next pay raise, to their next, reason why they're being successful at Scentsy. It has nothing to do with us doing that for them. It's just having the resources and the understanding of the tools they need to get to where they want to go. And I see a lot of faces on here too of people that we do coach, and that we get to, and coaching is, it's not necessarily coaching, it's just being an open door of information.
And it's not a therapy session. You
No.
don't have to have all the answers.
Mhm.
You need to know where you can find the answers, and you need to know where to send that consultant that needs that information. But like, understanding the compensation plan is key, and knowing how to, I don't want to say manipulate numbers, but knowing how to recognize what active is, what paid at title is a huge difference.
Mhm.
So many new consultants, especially new leaders, that find themselves stuck at lead, they struggle with paid at title because they get the 200 PRV, but then they forget that, yeah, you're still active. You can still continue to sell Scentsy for the next 4 months.
Or
But
understanding that it starts over every month and we have to work for our same title every single month. Our paid at title or our
Right.
rank is certified. It's along with everybody else. And
The-
we have to work and coach and PRV and lead to star director every single month.
yeah, a star consultant isn't a star consultant forever.
Mm-hmm.
You're a star consultant, and you'll get that good paycheck as a star consultant. But if the next month you don't hit 500 or more PRV or 2,500 TWV, your team is, you're not going to get paid the same as you were before. If you're not paid at title, you'll get paid at the title at which your team numbers reflect. So your directors, your star directors, your superstar consultants, they're all working to get paid at title and meet that minimum requirement every single month.
Michelle, there was one more thing that I really wanted to touch on, and then we'd let Tiffany take it. Him and I are kind of like two halves of a brain, okay? And this is really big information for people. I can voice text and be bubbly, and I understand the compensation plan. I understand all of that, but when it comes to running reports, when it comes to that part of the brain, he excels at that. I am a double clicker. I will literally go on a workstation, run, downline, double click on the information that I want to see. And that's as far as I go. Or I call him and I'm like, hey, it's the 5th, it's the 15th, we need to do these reports. He will literally send me a list of people that I need to contact and reach out to and check in on and say congratulations or anything like that. Here's where I'm getting at it. He wouldn't know that I needed that kind of help in my business unless I opened my mouth and I told him. Now, he's kind of got a disservice because I tell him everything that's wrong with me, and he knows exactly how I feel all the time. But what's really important, guys, is even if it's not your spouse, right? Even if it's just your accountability partner, find someone who can help you in areas of your business that you're just not that great at. I tell people all the time, my favorite information, my favorite knowledge about myself is the stuff I suck at, because it means I can get better at it, or I can ask for help. And he does that. He really does help a lot with these reports. And that's why he took on this training, because this is his area of expertise. And a lot of your spouses, they probably just don't know what you need help with. And sometimes, guys, if you give them a task like, hey, I need you to figure this one part out and help me figure it out. A lot of times, that's what I did with him, and he took it and ran with it. Just be open about any areas in your business. Like I don't even go to the post office. He does that for me too. So when it comes to running reports, guys, we're going to post the whole entire PowerPoint that he created. We're an open book. We will coach anyone. Michelle's going to help. Tiffany's going to help, especially with these reports, because we want you guys as leaders to be completely prepared to run a report for thousands of people, even if you only have 5 right now. Because we all want to grow and we want to keep growing. But also understand, if you do have a spouse, if you have someone that can help you, reach out and let them know what you need help with, because he's not a mind reader. I know he doesn't have to be in our relationship, but I'm just saying, I think it's really important for you guys to talk to your spouses and ask them for help, or show them this part of your business and say, hey, look, I have a team of 5 now, and here's the reporting tab. Can you help me figure this out? I know that they'll be more than happy to help you if you're open about what you need help with.
And going back to the actual reporting part of the Excel sheet that I showed you, that had the purples and the greens and the reds and oranges on it. The reason I saved those reports, and I saved the TWV, and the TWV report is the only report that I actually export and save. And that's because I run that report on the 5s. I run it on the 5th, I run it on the 15th, and I run it on the 25th. And I do that so that I can send Flea a text and say, hey, consultant A is so close to pay that title, or so close to promotion, shoot them an inspirational message.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll do it. And it's important that running reports consistently, and recognizing the TWV is super important. But I don't think anybody wants a voice text from me that says, let's get some extra PRV, or let's get the extra recruit. So she handles all that. And I hope we can end the recording soon and really answer all the questions. But thank y'all for letting us come on, and don't pressure your spouses into it. You've gotten to this point without them. But I enjoy working with her.
If they want to help, though, let them help.
Yeah. Even if it's a simple step like the post office.
I don't like making sample bags, but I really enjoy doing reports.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. Tiffany, Michelle, wrap us up.
Okay, so I'm going to keep it short, but I just want to tell you guys that you're seeing us do these reports and he's like going over how to save them. So go ahead and start now. Even if you only have 1 person under you, go ahead and do it now so you're in the habit of running them. And once your team starts growing, because the point of you getting on this training is to grow to director. So you're going to be recruiting. So the more people you're adding, the more people are going to fill up under those reports, and then you're not going to miss anybody because it's already done. It's already saved. And I really want to stress to you guys, we're in a season right now. I always tell people that spring to me is the spring, like where you plant seeds. And this is your season of growth. This is when you're going to build your team heavy. And then the fall, when all this amazing catalog come out and everybody's all crazy over September, like you all know that September hype. So that is when you're going to bloom. So go ahead now and take what we're saying and implement it and build your team heavy. Start running the reports. Start seeing who's going to go ahead and be like one of your heavy hitters, one of your stars. And then you're going to have all this in place for fall for that extra boost. And it's going to just bloom your business into like thousands of flowers. Did you like my flowers? I'm really funny, y'all. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, but that's all I have to say. So we'll do the Q&A.
I wanted to say one thing first. Nicole mentioned something about this in the comments. If you have somebody that is like not your direct front line, but they're under you, whenever you're running these reports and you see they're a rock star, but maybe their sponsor is not really attentive, or maybe they're not running their business. Because you can see, if this is your team, you can see if their sponsor is just not into it like the person is up underneath them. My suggestion would be to, as the head person of this team, remember I said yes to scented shells first, and then everybody else came. So I feel like all 307 of the people that are on scented shells are in some part a part of me, because scented shells is what I said yes to. So out of courtesy, you do go to their sponsor and you say, like, Tiffany, oh my God, you have got a rock star named Felicia on your team. I'm so super proud of her. You know, how are you working with her? Because this is just going to help both of you grow. Make it about both of them, make it very positive, but bring that to their attention, that they see that. If that person that you reached out to and talking about, and her person underneath her totally ghosts you, or totally acts like they're not involved, or they don't want to work with this person or whatever, you have the right as the owner of your team and your group to reach down to that person. Don't let a rock star sit down there and not have the guidance or not have anything, because that rock star, when you promote to star director, that rock star can be one of your directors that's going to get you there. Okay. So you can dig down deep and you can see down in there, but give the person that sponsored them the courteous notion to message them and say, hey, I see you got Felicia up underneath you, Tiffany. She is rocking it out. I'm super proud of both of you. Okay. So you want to like encourage both of them, even though you know Tiffany is just sitting here on a log and not really working her business, but she's got a rock star that's getting ready to come up and go past her. I talked about this in the compensation plan thing. You want to encourage both of them, because you never know, whenever you're sending that message to Tiffany, she's going to say, oh my God, I haven't looked at my reports. Maybe I do need to check out what my team is doing, because there's a lot of people that don't. They don't look at their team numbers. They just worry about themselves, and what happens, happens. So maybe you did that little nudge that's going to say, hey, Tiffany, I see Felicia working. I'm super proud of both of you. How can I help to do that? So this is something that you want to be very cognizant of, because you don't want to step on any toes, but you also want to give them the benefit of the doubt. If they don't respond to you, you have every opportunity and every right to go down deep into your team and pull some of those that are down in the downline and work with them if you see that they're rock stars. But I just wanted to put that out there before we start with the Q&A. So Felicia and Rob, I'm going to let you Q&A, because this is you guys.
Yeah, what y'all got? Any questions? We can go back. I can pull the PowerPoint back up. But I want you to understand that those were all directly screenshots, frame by frame, from Workstation. If you look back at this PowerPoint, or you look back at the attachment we'll upload with the outline of the slideshow, it is screen by screen, frame by frame of what to expect when you're setting up the reports. So unmute yourself. Do we have any questions? Raise a hand. We good?
Everyone's videos off. Or most of them. Most of them. Sorry, Amanda. I see your beautiful face.
If you have a question, you guys, go down to the bottom left of your screen and unmute yourself. Click on the microphone and unmute yourself. If I unmute everybody, it's going to be a lot of static.
And again, guys, if you're too uncomfortable because it's still recording or whatever, to ask your questions, you can go to our group page and ask there after you kind of let it sink in as well. Just let us know. I think everyone's good.
Yeah, Michelle, I think we can answer questions throughout the week if we have them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to stop recording then.